Hello, fellow gamers, and welcome back to Stupid Questions and Dumb Answers. I'm your host, Jeffrey Jefferson, and today we have two new contenders for you. But before that, let's hear a word from our sponsors.
This episode of Stupid Questions and Dumb Answers is sponsored by Fortnite. Ready up today.
Alright, let's meet our contestants. First up, looking way smarter than he actually is, and totally not being me in a different costume, it's Jacob 2! And for our second contestant, not even bothering to look smart, it's Evan! Are you still filming? Alright, and our prizes for today are these one-of-a-kind Fortnite action figure and Fortnite Battle Royale chest, and of course, 3 V-Bucks. Yes, 3 V-Bucks. A fun fact for all you mathematicians out there, that's about 1,000 times less than Mr. Einstein's son spent on Fortnite in one day. And now a word from our other sponsor.
We don't have another sponsor.
What?
It's just Fortnite.
Oh. Okay, welcome back to Stupid Questions and Dumb Answers. Now on to the first category.
Alright, our first category is social Darwinism. How did social Darwinism apply in the early 1900s?
It was in Fortnite.
Incorrect.
It was part of the imperialism that merged and started spreading.
Correct. Who followed social Darwinism in the early 1900s?
It was the rich dudes who wanted to keep their power in society.
Correct.
Yes.
What were the social consequences of social Darwinism?
The poor people continued to stay poor and their communities started to become dysfunctional.
Correct.
Yes.
How does social Darwinism change society?
It changed the way people could live and grow in their social structure.
Correct. Second category, black activists. What were the goals of black activists?
To create equality between whites and blacks.
Correct. What actions were taken to achieve these goals?
They established the NAACP, which fought for black rights.
Correct. What was the result of the NAACP?
They got some rights, but not a lot.
Correct. Who was Booker T. Washington, Webb Du Bois, and Marcus Garvey, and what did they do that was so important to earning black rights?
Didn't they invent Fortnite?
Incorrect.
They each fought for black rights in different non-violent ways.
Correct. How did this change society and politics?
Blacks got to do some voting and stuff and some things within their own communities, but still not as much as the whites.
Correct. The next category is communism in America. Who is involved in this group, and what types of people?
The working class who thought the rich were taking advantage of their labor.
Correct. What was their mission in the U.S.?
To gain supporters and make communism grow, bro.
Correct. What was the impact on the daily lives of Americans?
It made people really scared, so they cried.
Correct. What were the economic, social, and political changes that happened in the U.S. because of this?
Well, there weren't really many in the time period we're talking about because they weren't seen as a big enough threat. But later, during the Cold War, after World War II, there were the McCarthyism laws where they targeted people who were suspected to be communists and did bad stuff to them and ruined their lives, basically.
Correct.
Sick.
The next category is prohibition. Who was involved with the prohibition in 1920?
Well, one example of people that were rallying against alcohol was there was a group of mothers in the United States who thought that alcohol was ruining society and everyone was being drunk and stuff all the time and they weren't keeping up their good Christian values when they were drunk.
Correct. Where did this happen?
Well, this is a project for United States history, so probably the United States.
Correct. What was the prohibition?
The nationwide ban of the production and sale of alcoholic beverages.
Correct. What was the impact on the nation from this prohibition?
Well, basically, the dudes that like to drink got kind of mad that they couldn't drink anymore, so they started robbing places and sneaking alcohol in through the Canadian border. Basically, the crime rate just grew throughout the nation.
Correct! How was the social and economic structure of the U.S. changed by the Prohibition?
The economy's wealth dropped as many alcoholic businesses were put out of business, and overall society was separated into groups who liked alcohol and groups who didn't.
Correct! The next category is industrialists. What was the philosophy of the big industrialists?
They thought that if the economy grows, then everything would be better.
Correct! How did the industrialists organize their businesses?
They tried to run their businesses so that they had as little competition as possible, and they really wanted a monopoly on their entire industry.
Correct! How did industrialists make their money?
Well, they tried to keep wages down as much as possible so they could have their profits skyrocket and make a lot of money for themselves.
Correct! How did their industries affect the U.S. economy?
Well, it made the economy grow on paper. Like, the GDP was increasing a lot, but the workers weren't really seeing any of that money. Only, like, the super rich class was.
Correct!
Gnarly.
Who were Carnegie, Rockefeller, and Vanderbilt?
They were, like, the biggest industrialists of their time. Carnegie, he was the steel dude. Rockefeller, he was the oil dude. And Vanderbilt, he was the railroad dude. I think he had some steamboats too, I don't know.
Correct! What economic, social, and political changes happened because of this group?
Well, the working class started becoming fed up with being exploited for the profits of big business. So they started organizing into unions and demanding higher wages and more rights, weekends off, all that fun stuff.
Correct!
And the winner of this episode of Stupid Questions and Dumb Answers is Evan! What? Evan, this is your prize.
What? You guys told me it was $10,000.
Joe, you told me it was $10,000.
That was dumb. We're gonna use it.
Okay.